Did you like it?
I think it's a yes.
I take it for a yes.
Yeah. And you whistle very well as well. Very impressed.
You want me to do that again?
Bravo.
It's one of the only skill I have. When you're a director, you don't know to do. You don't have to do anything. You don't shoot really. You don't act. You don't make a costume. I just whistle.
But is it how you directed Jodie on set?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to ask you a first question to start the conversation. It's something I mentioned many times. You're an amazing writer and you write all your film, among other things. I was wondering what was the original point of the idea for the film, because the film is many things in terms of like a thriller and a family relationship, and as well as dealing with psychoanalysis versus different form of therapy or hypnotism. So what was really the original idea in terms of what you wanted to achieve?
It's funny because I was just thinking, like, while you were watching the film, we were having like one margarita, and I was like, am I really bringing a film on a Jewish therapist to New York City? And like, I must be like crazy. And how many therapists are in the audience? Okay. Yeah. How many people are in therapy? Okay, so first, this is the tradition. Like in France, we have like this strong tradition of auteur-director. I mean, writer-director. So it's not like it's pretty common to write its own films. And this one was like different from it was not the same paradigm than the other, because one of my very best like novelists in France, Anne Berest, who is also like one of my best friends from high school, saw me in between two films and being like kind of questioning myself. And she was like, I have like this idea of a character and her name would be Lilian Steiner. And this is not fake modesty to say that everything was in this script that she gave to me. It was like maybe 30 pages. It was different like for so many things, and we rewrote together. But the core of the film, the idea that a psychiatrist that would have like this strange empathy of someone, of a patient dying, and she would cry, and what would happen, and she would go to a hypnotist, so to the rival of her practice. It was in the script. So this is like the conscious beginning of it, but the unconscious beginning of this film was the desire to work with Jodie Foster. And I was like, what can I find? What can I find for her to look at me? And also, I was haunted by the title, Vie privée, a private life. Because in French, vie privée means like private life, like the secret life, like your intimacy, but it also means deprived of life. So it was like, you see what I mean? And also it was like the title of, I'm very talkative, I'm sorry.
No.
It's the margarita.
Stop.
It's the title of another
Yeah.
film.
Thank you, Florence. It's the title of another film from Louis Malle, who's a director from the Nouvelle Vague that I worship and that has not been like the most famous of all of them. And this is a film that, like, strangely, is not his best one. This is a film from 62. I love it too. But this is a film from 62 where, like, strangely, the couple between Brigitte Bardot and Marcello Mastroianni did not take, as we say, like a mayonnaise, like it did not, I'm a very bad cooker, but you see what I mean. It's like it doesn't. And maybe one of the things that I'm the most proud, like in this film, is that the chemistry between Jodie Foster, Jodie, and Daniel was amazing. And so I felt that this title could be taken again.
I guess that Jodie said yes to the invitation of the script you wrote for her. in France, everybody knows you speak French because we're so proud when someone
Exactly.
we're so proud that someone could speak French and someone of your stature. And so it's a well-known fact. I don't know if it was that well-known here, but the role is really amazing. Your French is remarkable. And I was wondering
Can
if
we
it was-
applaud her for that, please? She speaks better French than I do.
And I was wondering if you could talk about your experience on the set, because it's a completely French film, and Rebecca has a very particular way of working with actors.
Yeah, well, it's something I wanted to do for a long time. I've made a few French films, but never with this much dialogue and in a starring role. So it's something that I've been looking for years, and then I finally found the right role, the right script, and the right director. That all came together. I was nervous. I was scared a little bit. I kept telling her I'm a little scared. So I came 3 weeks ahead of time just to be in the city and not talk to any American friends and only speak to French people. And I think that was helpful. We had a wonderful dialect coach as well. But Rebecca had to put in a few little anglicisms, a little American things here and there, fuck and shit and stuff like that, just to...
I needed to, because if not, she was like a French person, and people would like, this is weird. It's like Catherine Deneuve speaking Chinese.
But yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Obviously it's different working on a French set than it is an American set, but we're all making movies. We all wear the same jeans, and it feels like a global family. There are a few differences. The crews are smaller, and people overlap and do lots of jobs. So that's not something we do in America. In America, even on a tiny movie, on a small movie, pretty much everybody has kind of a job that they do. But in the French world, no.
I would paste things in the setup, and she was like, "What are you doing?" Just like pinning things, and then like taking my coat off and like wear it on the scene. And she was like, "Are you
Kept giving her
serious?"
clothes to wear, which I was like, oh, I don't know. We don't do this in America.
It's a very serious topic because you bring religion and the Jewish faith as well in a very strong thriller way, but there's also a little bit of a lighter element in that film than in a lot of your previous work. And maybe that came also from the cast and working with Jodie, Danielle, Vincent Lacoste. It's something that was present from the beginning, or it developed as you were working?
I would say more than Jewish faith, I would say Jewish culture. And because like I'm absolutely atheist, but I'm of Jewish culture. And the beginning of the film was like a Jewish joke. It's like, what if your therapist starts to sob while you're like telling your stories? And you're like, what's happening here? Like, Doc? And I found it's like pretty funny. But also the fact that there is like, the film is haunted by the idea of a patient who became mute, and like there's like one moment where the debook, ID is mentioned, and it may be like a debook movie in a way. It's like when you have like you're possessed by someone that died like pretty young, and then eventually in those very dark times, I felt that I was even like chasing pleasure, and in my civil life, I'm a lover. I mean, I like to love. And in my films, I was really austere. You saw my first ones. And I felt it was maybe the time, I felt the responsibility as a filmmaker to offer something like still meaningful, but with a levity.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it something that you felt also?
Yeah, well, it was in the script. I think the script was, there were a lot of chuckles in the script for me. And I'm sure that for French people, there's even more, because there are things I'm sure that I've missed that are funny for French people. But the casting of Daniel Auteuil, I think, really changed things, because he does have a light way about him. And immediately our relationship with each other, just as friends, as coworkers, he just makes me laugh. So, we had that kind of... Every time he makes me laugh, so he constantly is trying to make me laugh. And I think Danielle really coming in changed it a lot.
It's a great role for Danielle. I mean, I don't want to compliment someone who's not here. It's not going to know that we did so many great films.
Let's not do that. He doesn't take the plane. Let's not even say a word.
But it's really nice to see him in this sort of role, because doesn't.
I have to say that when they were in front of each other in this elevator, first, Jodie said, like, is this a real elevator? This is the first time she really actually performed in a real one.
I've made a lot of scenes in elevators, but not real ones. Not real tiny little French elevators.
So French. See what I mean?
It's a whole building.
And they were like in front of each other, and Daniel would say, I think I know your body for such a long time. And they were absolutely like, I don't know, like siblings. I would not say, yeah, more than that. But the fact that it's two continents of those amazing like legends, like in France, Daniel is a legend, in US and abroad, Jodie is a legend, and they knew each other like from very close because they saw them like on the big screen. And this is the perfect like setup for exes because you know your skin like quite well.
That's very true. Everything about Daniel I knew from all the movies that he had made. You know exactly where he has a birthmark right here. And of course, I've been watching him in movies all these years, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm going to scratch that. Oh no, it's a real one. I really wanted to hear a little bit more about the free-form idea that comes from psychoanalysis, because it nearly seems that you're using free-form in the film by all the detour you're taking around going all these issues, and it's something that was really in the back of your mind.
I'm laughing because I started like, I know I'm like this French Parisian, like Ashkenazi Jewish, and I had never been in therapy. Like before, like, you know, it's been like 4 years I've been there, and I think it's the end, by the way. So I was like, oh, it's so interesting. It's such like a playground for fiction, you know. I was like, okay, at 45 years old. So I feel that although like cinema, lexic, and psychoanalysis are the same. You go to a séance. Séance is like a session, like is a screening. You project. You have the projection, and like so many, you know, so many echoes on like repressed desires, fantasies, projections, condensations, and stuff, and dreams. Yeah. And I felt that in this office, so many voices, so many pains, so many libido, such a playground. And also the hypnose that I've been always like, you know, trying to.
Hypnosis in
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's been like, you know, I've been trying hard, but it's like it never worked on me, never. But
you know, in the United States, pretty much we're not fans of Freud. You know, we decided for the most part. I mean, a little bit in New York. I think there's still a little bit of Freudian psychoanalysis left, but for the United States, we kind of decided to cancel him for his misogyny, etc. Rightfully so, perhaps. But I will say, you know, there's nothing more rich than taking Freud and looking at a film. It's like such an extraordinary lens, and so fun and funny. You know, to be able to make fun of that and to be able to see all of those even tropes and stereotypes that we've seen before in analysis. And then to turn it on its edge. You know, Freud had started out with hypnosis and then turned against it. So it's great. You know, one of the scenes that I love, of course, is with the hypnotist, and that kind of animosity of the therapist with the hypnotist.
We should do a projection, and you both talk about analysis as it's going along with the Freud.
We should do like a collective therapy right now.
And that too. I have more questions for you, but unfortunately we are running out of time already. But it was really, really great to have you here for the premiere. And thank you so much, Rebecca, for being here. Thank you, Jodie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.